February 14, 1945. Comfort Station Number 7, Manila, Philippines. Colonel Takeshi Yamamoto conducted his routine inspection of the military facility housing 47 Korean, Chinese, and Filipino women forced into sexual slavery by the Imperial Japanese Army. The veteran administrator responsible for managing comfort women operations across the Pacific believed his systematic control had created unbreakable submission among women who had been reduced to numbers rather than human beings. Perfect order maintained, Yamamoto reported to his superiors, observing the systematic degradation that had stripped these women of identity, hope, and resistance. The comfort women understand their role in supporting Japanese military morale while maintaining discipline essential for continued operations. No signs of organized resistance or escape attempts. What Colonel Yamamoto couldn't know, what none of the Japanese military officials administering the systematic sexual slavery of over 200,000 women across occupied Asia could have imagined, was that 15 miles northwest, American forces were advancing toward Manila with liberating momentum that would expose one of history's most brutal systems of organized sexual violence and human trafficking. The mathematical reality of Japanese comfort women operations represented systematic dehumanization on industrial scales. Military planners had calculated that each woman could service 30-40 soldiers daily while maintaining operational efficiency that Japanese command considered essential for troop morale and military effectiveness across occupied territories. What Yamamoto couldn't comprehend was that American forces approaching Manila carried not just military liberation, but moral awakening that would reveal the systematic nature of Japanese sexual slavery, while documenting evidence that would challenge every assumption about wartime conduct and human dignity. Before we continue with this difficult but crucial story of liberation and survival, I want to invite you to join our community dedicated to preserving important historical testimonies. Please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support helps us bring these vital stories to light with the respect and dignity they deserve. If you believe in the importance of documenting history's darkest chapters to ensure they're never repeated, give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who understand the value of historical truth. Now let's continue with this essential story. Japanese confidence in maintaining systematic sexual slavery wasn't mere military administration. It was calculated dehumanization based on 3 years of successful operations that had created institutional systems reducing women to military supplies while eliminating resistance through psychological destruction, physical isolation, and systematic terror that military planners considered operationally necessary. The administrative infrastructure supporting comfort women operations included detailed records, medical protocols, and transportation systems that treated human trafficking as routine military logistics. Japanese military bureaucracy had systematized sexual slavery through institutional procedures that eliminated individual agency while maintaining operational efficiency. The psychological control methods employed by Japanese administrators included systematic intimidation, cultural isolation, and identity destruction designed to eliminate resistance while creating compliant submission. Military psychologists had developed techniques that reduced women to numbers while destroying hope of escape or rescue. Captain Hiroshi Tanaka, supervising multiple comfort stations across the Philippines, had systematized operational procedures. Comfort women provide essential military service that maintains troop morale while preventing discipline problems. Systematic administration ensures operational efficiency while controlling potential security risks through proper management protocols. The medical infrastructure supporting comfort station operations included systematic examinations, forced contraception, and treatment protocols that prioritized military health while ignoring women's welfare. Japanese military medicine had created procedures that maintained system efficiency while treating women as military equipment. The security measures protecting comfort station operations included isolated locations, restricted access, and systematic monitoring that prevented escape while maintaining operational secrecy. Military police had created security protocols that eliminated resistance possibilities while protecting operational continuity. The recruitment methods that supplied the comfort women system included systematic deception, family coercion, and military abduction that targeted vulnerable populations throughout occupied Asia. Japanese military planners had created trafficking networks that provided continuous supply while maintaining plausible deniability. Lieutenant Saburo Matsui, managing comfort station logistics, documented systematic efficiency. Current operations maintain required capacity while preventing security breaches that might compromise military effectiveness. Administrative systems ensure continuous availability while managing potential complications through established protocols. The financial administration supporting comfort women operations included systematic accounting that treated sexual slavery as military expenditure, while maintaining records that demonstrated institutional involvement. Japanese military bureaucracy had created financial systems that documented systematic exploitation. The transportation networks supporting comfort station operations included coordinated movement that followed military advances while maintaining system continuity. Japanese logistics had created mobile trafficking that sustained sexual slavery throughout Pacific operations while adapting to changing strategic requirements. As Colonel Yamamoto completed his inspection with systematic confidence in continued operations, he embodied Japanese military culture that had institutionalized sexual slavery while creating administrative systems that eliminated human recognition in favor of operational efficiency. The stage was set for devastating revelation that American liberation would expose systematic sexual slavery while documenting evidence of institutional war crimes that challenged fundamental assumptions about military conduct and human dignity. Japanese administration of systematic sexual slavery wasn't individual brutality, it was institutional machinery, implemented through 3 years of coordinated operations that had created bureaucratic systems, reducing over 200,000 women to military supplies, while establishing trafficking networks, administrative procedures, and security protocols that treated human degradation as routine military logistics across occupied Asia. The statistical reality supporting Japanese comfort women operations included systematic documentation that revealed industrial-scale sexual slavery. Military records indicated 2,000 comfort stations operating across occupied territories, while administrative files documented procedures that treated women as military equipment requiring maintenance, replacement, and operational efficiency. The secret lay in systematic dehumanization that eliminated individual recognition through administrative procedures, identification numbers, and operational protocols designed to reduce women to military resources while preventing psychological resistance or escape attempts that might compromise operational efficiency. General Yasuji Okamura, commanding Japanese forces in China, had institutionalized comfort women operations through systematic military policy. Comfort stations provide essential military service that maintains troop discipline while preventing security risks associated with uncontrolled soldier behavior. Administrative efficiency ensures operational continuity while managing potential complications. The recruitment infrastructure supporting Japanese operations included coordinated trafficking networks that operated throughout occupied territories using systematic deception, family coercion, and military abduction. Administrative systems had created continuous supply chains that maintained comfort station capacity while adapting to military requirements. More systematically devastating was the administrative integration that made sexual slavery routine. Military procedure through standardized forms, medical protocols, and operational manuals that institutionalized human trafficking while creating bureaucratic normality around systematic exploitation. Captain Hiroshi Tanaka had developed operational procedures that maximize system efficiency. Systematic administration ensures optimal comfort station performance while minimizing administrative complications. Standardized procedures maintain operational efficiency while preventing security breaches that might compromise military effectiveness. The medical infrastructure supporting comfort women operations included systematic examinations, forced contraception, and treatment protocols designed to maintain system efficiency while protecting military health. Japanese military medicine had created procedures that treated women's bodies as military equipment requiring maintenance. The security systems protecting comfort station operations included isolated facilities, restricted access, and systematic monitoring that prevented escape while maintaining operational secrecy. Military police had developed protocols that eliminated resistance possibilities while protecting institutional operations. The transportation logistics supporting Japanese trafficking included coordinated movement systems that followed military advances while maintaining comfort station continuity. Administrative networks had created mobile slavery that sustained operations throughout Pacific campaigns while adapting to strategic requirements. The financial administration that governed comfort women operations included systematic accounting procedures that treated sexual slavery as routine military expenditure while maintaining records that documented institutional involvement. Japanese bureaucracy had created financial systems that normalized human trafficking. Lieutenant Colonel Seishiro Itagaki, analyzing comfort station effectiveness, had validated systematic operations through military assessment. Current administrative systems maintain required operational capacity while preventing complications that might affect military efficiency. Institutional procedures ensure continuous availability while managing potential security risks. The training programs that prepared Japanese personnel for comfort station administration included systematic instruction in management, procedures, security protocols, and administrative requirements. Military education had created specialized knowledge that institutionalized sexual slavery through professional competence. The communication systems linking comfort station operations enabled coordinated administration across occupied territories while maintaining operational security. Administrative networks provided systematic control that sustained trafficking operations while preventing unauthorized disclosure. The legal framework supporting Japanese operations included military regulations that legitimized comfort station administration while creating institutional protection for systematic sexual slavery. Legal procedures had created bureaucratic legitimacy that normalized human trafficking through official authorization. The psychological conditioning that accompanied Japanese military training included systematic dehumanization education that prepared personnel for comfort station administration while eliminating moral resistance to institutional sexual slavery. Military culture had created professional acceptance of systematic exploitation. The replacement procedures that sustained comfort women operations included systematic recruitment, transportation, and facility assignment that maintained operational capacity while adapting to casualties and military requirements. Administrative efficiency had created continuous trafficking that sustained system operations. By February 1945, Japanese comfort women operations represented systematic institutional machinery that had created bureaucratic normality around sexual slavery while establishing administrative procedures that eliminated human recognition in favor of operational efficiency across occupied territories. What Japanese administrators couldn't anticipate was that American liberation would expose institutional documentation while creating testimony that would reveal systematic sexual slavery as coordinated war crimes rather than individual military misconduct. February 23, 1945. Bureau 7:30 hours. Outskirts of Manila, Philippines. Staff Sergeant Robert Chen of the 37th Infantry Division encountered his first comfort station as American forces advanced through Japanese-held territory, discovering systematic evidence of sexual slavery that no military training had prepared him to witness or comprehend. The systematic degradation he observed challenged every assumption about wartime conduct and human dignity. What we found defied description, Chen later testified in war crimes documentation. 47 women kept in conditions that reduced human beings to numbers, while systematic records documented their exploitation as military supplies. The administrative efficiency of systematic sexual slavery exceeded our worst expectations about Japanese military conduct. The initial liberation encounters revealed institutional systems that had operated with bureaucratic precision while maintaining detailed records of systematic exploitation. American forces discovered administrative files, medical protocols, and operational procedures that documented sexual slavery as routine military logistics. The psychological condition of liberated women reflected 3 years of systematic trauma designed to eliminate resistance while creating compliant submission. Military psychologists would later document psychological damage that exceeded individual brutality through institutional dehumanization implemented with administrative efficiency. Lieutenant Mary Johnson, military nurse assigned to initial liberation care, observed systematic psychological conditioning. These women had been reduced to numbers through administrative procedures that eliminated individual identity while creating institutional submission. Recovery would require understanding systematic rather than individual trauma. The documentation discovered during liberation included detailed records that revealed systematic sexual slavery operations across occupied territories. Administrative files provided evidence of institutional coordination, while demonstrating bureaucratic normalization of human trafficking through military procedures. The physical conditions observed during initial liberation revealed systematic neglect designed to maintain operational efficiency while eliminating care beyond basic functionality. Women had been maintained as military equipment while receiving minimal attention beyond operational requirements. Captain James Wilson, commanding liberation operations, documented systematic findings. Comfort Station Administration revealed institutional sexual slavery that operated through bureaucratic procedures rather than individual brutality. The systematic nature of operations indicated coordinated policy rather than isolated military misconduct. The testimony provided by liberated women revealed systematic recruitment through deception, family coercion, and military abduction that had operated throughout occupied Asia. Individual accounts documented coordinated trafficking networks that supplied comfort stations while maintaining institutional plausible deniability. The medical evidence discovered during liberation included systematic documentation of forced contraception, required examinations and treatment protocols that prioritized military health while ignoring women's welfare. Medical records revealed institutional procedures that treated women as military equipment. The security protocols observed at liberated facilities included systematic isolation, restricted access, and monitoring procedures that prevented escape while maintaining operational secrecy. Administrative systems had created prison conditions while maintaining bureaucratic legitimacy through military authorization. Sergeant Thomas Rodriguez, documenting liberation evidence, observed systematic administration. Japanese record-keeping revealed institutional coordination that treated sexual slavery as routine military procedure. Administrative efficiency indicated systematic policy rather than individual criminal behavior. The communication systems discovered during liberation included coordination networks that linked comfort station operations across occupied territories while maintaining administrative control. Documentation revealed systematic administration that sustained trafficking operations through bureaucratic procedures. The financial records uncovered during liberation included systematic accounting that documented sexual slavery as military expenditure while maintaining institutional financial oversight. Economic documentation revealed bureaucratic treatment of human trafficking as routine military logistics. The training materials discovered during liberation revealed systematic education that prepared Japanese personnel for comfort station administration while eliminating moral resistance to institutional sexual slavery. Educational systems had created professional competence in systematic exploitation. The liberation testimonies that emerged from initial encounters included accounts of systematic psychological conditioning designed to eliminate resistance while creating institutional submission. Individual stories revealed coordinated dehumanization that operated through administrative procedures rather than random brutality. The strategic intelligence gathered during liberation revealed comfort station networks that operated throughout occupied Asia while maintaining systematic coordination. Military analysis indicated institutional sexual slavery that extended beyond individual facilities through coordinated administrative systems. By late February 1945, American liberation had begun exposing systematic sexual slavery that operated through institutional procedures while maintaining bureaucratic efficiency. Initial encounters revealed coordinated exploitation that challenged fundamental assumptions about military conduct and institutional responsibility. The first glimpse of freedom was revealing systematic machinery that had operated with administrative precision while reducing human beings to military supplies through institutional procedures that normalized sexual slavery through bureaucratic legitimacy. March 15, 1945. Manila General Hospital, Philippines. Dr. Margaret Sullivan documented the systematic trauma affecting 347 liberated comfort women as American medical teams struggled to comprehend the institutional scale of sexual slavery that Japanese military administration had implemented with bureaucratic precision across occupied Asia. The evidence revealed systematic dehumanization that exceeded individual brutality through coordinated exploitation. "We're treating systematic institutional trauma rather than individual assault cases," Dr. Sullivan reported to Military Medical Command. These women experienced coordinated sexual slavery that operated through administrative procedures while maintaining detailed documentation. The systematic nature indicates institutional policy rather than isolated military misconduct. The medical examination results revealed systematic physical damage consistent with prolonged sexual slavery while documenting malnutrition, disease, and psychological conditioning designed to eliminate resistance. Clinical evidence indicated institutional exploitation that had operated with administrative efficiency while treating women as military equipment. The testimony documentation process revealed systematic recruitment through coordinated trafficking networks that had operated throughout occupied territories using deception, family coercion, and military abduction. Individual accounts provided evidence of institutional coordination while documenting bureaucratic procedures that normalized human trafficking. Captain Robert Chen, coordinating liberation operations, observed systematic evidence that challenged fundamental assumptions. Japanese comfort station administration revealed institutional sexual slavery that operated through military bureaucracy while maintaining detailed records. The systematic coordination indicates policy implementation rather than individual criminal behavior. The psychological assessment conducted by military psychiatrists revealed systematic conditioning designed to eliminate individual identity while creating institutional submission. Clinical evaluation documented psychological damage that resulted from coordinated dehumanization rather than random brutality. The administrative documentation discovered during liberation included operational manuals, medical protocols, and financial records that revealed systematic sexual slavery as routine military procedure. Bureaucratic evidence indicated institutional coordination while demonstrating administrative normalization of human trafficking. Lieutenant Mary Johnson, supervising medical care for liberated women, documented systematic trauma patterns. Clinical evidence reveals coordinated exploitation that operated through institutional procedures while maintaining administrative efficiency. Recovery requires understanding systematic rather than individual trauma patterns. The intelligence analysis conducted by American forces revealed comfort station networks that operated throughout occupied Asia while maintaining systematic coordination through military administrative systems. Strategic assessment indicated institutional sexual slavery that extended beyond individual facilities. The war crimes documentation process included systematic evidence collection that revealed coordinated sexual slavery through bureaucratic procedures while maintaining detailed administrative records. Legal evidence indicated institutional responsibility rather than individual military misconduct. The survivor interviews conducted during liberation revealed systematic psychological conditioning designed to eliminate resistance while creating compliant submission through institutional procedures. Testimony documented coordinated dehumanization that operated through administrative systems. Major James Patterson, analyzing systematic evidence, provided comprehensive assessment. Comfort station operations revealed institutional sexual slavery that functioned through military bureaucracy while maintaining administrative coordination. The systematic nature indicates coordinated policy implementation across occupied territories. The rehabilitation programs established for liberated women included specialized treatment for systematic trauma while addressing psychological conditioning that had eliminated individual identity through institutional procedures. Medical care required understanding systematic rather than individual exploitation. The communication networks discovered during liberation revealed coordination systems that linked comfort station operations across occupied Asia while maintaining administrative control through military bureaucracy. Documentation indicated institutional coordination that sustained systematic trafficking. The financial analysis of discovered records revealed systematic accounting that documented sexual slavery as routine military expenditure while maintaining institutional oversight through bureaucratic procedures. Economic evidence indicated administrative treatment of human trafficking as military logistics. The cultural assessment conducted during liberation revealed systematic destruction of individual identity through administrative procedures designed to eliminate resistance while creating institutional submission. Cultural evidence documented coordinated dehumanization through bureaucratic systems. The strategic implications of liberation discoveries included recognition that Japanese comfort station operations represented institutional war crimes rather than individual military misconduct. Systematic evidence revealed coordinated policy implementation that indicated institutional responsibility. The international documentation process established during liberation included systematic evidence collection for war crimes prosecution while maintaining detailed records of institutional sexual slavery. Legal preparation required understanding systematic rather than individual criminal behavior. By late March 1945, American liberation had exposed systematic sexual slavery that operated through institutional coordination while maintaining bureaucratic efficiency across occupied territories. The full revelation documented coordinated exploitation that challenged fundamental assumptions about military conduct and institutional responsibility. The horror was systematic and institutional, revealed through documentation that indicated coordinated policy implementation rather than individual criminal behavior while demonstrating administrative normalization of human trafficking through military bureaucracy. August 15, 1945, Repatriation Center, Manila. Kim Soon-ok, a 23-year-old Korean woman liberated from 3 years of systematic sexual slavery, stood among 1,247 former comfort women preparing for uncertain return journeys to homelands that might reject them due to cultural shame surrounding their victimization. Her survival represented testimony to institutional war crimes that would require decades of courage to achieve international recognition. "We survived to tell the truth," Kim whispered to fellow survivor Maria Santos, a Filipino woman whose testimony would become crucial evidence in documenting systematic sexual slavery. "But our countries may not want to hear what happened to us. The shame follows victims rather than perpetrators in societies that blame women for men's crimes." The final statistics documented systematic sexual slavery that mathematics made undeniable. Over 200,000 women forced into institutional exploitation across occupied Asia, while Japanese military bureaucracy maintained detailed administrative records that proved coordinated policy implementation rather than individual criminal behavior. The human cost was documented with devastating precision through medical records, survivor testimony, and administrative evidence that revealed institutional war crimes operating through military bureaucracy. The systematic nature challenged fundamental assumptions about wartime conduct while demanding international legal recognition. General Douglas MacArthur, reviewing war crimes evidence during occupation planning, acknowledged systematic documentation that would influence international law. Japanese comfort station operations represent institutional sexual slavery that operated through military administration while maintaining bureaucratic coordination. The evidence demands legal recognition of systematic war crimes. The repatriation challenges facing liberated women included cultural stigma that blamed victims rather than perpetrators, while societies maintained traditional shame surrounding sexual violence. Many survivors faced rejection from families and communities that couldn't acknowledge their victimization without cultural disgrace. But the most lasting impact was testimonial. Survivor courage in documenting systematic sexual slavery would eventually achieve international recognition, while challenging legal systems to acknowledge institutional war crimes that operated through bureaucratic procedures rather than individual criminal behavior. Dr. Margaret Sullivan, analyzing long-term survivor trauma, documented systematic psychological damage. These women experienced institutional exploitation that operated through coordinated dehumanization while maintaining administrative efficiency. Recovery requires recognizing systematic rather than individual trauma while understanding bureaucratic normalization of sexual slavery. The legal development that emerged from liberation evidence included international recognition of systematic sexual slavery as war crimes while establishing precedents for institutional responsibility. Legal frameworks evolved to address coordinated exploitation that operated through bureaucratic procedures. The historical documentation process initiated during liberation included systematic evidence preservation, while maintaining survivor testimony that would influence international understanding of institutional sexual slavery. Academic research required decades to achieve comprehensive analysis of bureaucratic war crimes. The cultural transformation that resulted from survivor testimony included gradual recognition of institutional sexual slavery while challenging traditional shame that blamed victims rather than perpetrators. Social change required generations to acknowledge systematic exploitation without cultural stigma. Kim Soon-ok, who dedicated her life to testimony and education, provided definitive assessment during 1991 public disclosure. Japanese military created systematic sexual slavery that operated through institutional coordination while maintaining administrative records. Our survival demands recognition of bureaucratic war crimes rather than individual misconduct. The international recognition that eventually emerged included legal acknowledgement of comfort women's system as institutional war crimes, while establishing precedents for systematic sexual slavery prosecution. Legal development required decades of survivor courage to achieve international understanding. The educational programs that developed from survivor testimony included systematic documentation of institutional sexual slavery while maintaining historical accuracy that challenged traditional narratives, minimizing bureaucratic war crimes. Academic recognition required persistent survivor advocacy. The memorial initiatives that honored survivor courage included international recognition of systematic sexual slavery while establishing permanent documentation of institutional war crimes. Cultural memory required decades of survivor testimony to achieve appropriate historical acknowledgement. The legal precedents established through survivor advocacy included international recognition of institutional sexual slavery, while creating frameworks for prosecuting systematic war crimes that operate through bureaucratic procedures. Legal development influenced international humanitarian law. At the 2015 commemoration of Liberation's 70th anniversary, surviving comfort women and their advocates achieved unprecedented international recognition. Kim Soon-ok, now 93, addressed global audiences with testimony that transcended individual survival. Japanese military created systematic sexual slavery that operated through institutional coordination while maintaining detailed administrative records. Our survival testimony demands recognition of bureaucratic war crimes that reduced human beings to military supplies through coordinated exploitation. The Assembly stood in recognition that survivor courage had achieved international acknowledgement of institutional war crimes, while challenging legal systems to address systematic sexual slavery that operated through bureaucratic procedures rather than individual criminal behavior. The recognition was earned through decades of survivor courage that documented systematic sexual slavery while demanding international acknowledgement of institutional war crimes that operated through coordinated exploitation rather than individual misconduct. In the end, liberation wasn't complete until survivor testimony achieved international recognition of systematic sexual slavery as institutional war crimes that operated through bureaucratic coordination while maintaining administrative records that proved coordinated policy implementation, demanding legal acknowledgement and historical truth.